Full moon in Leo on February 5th. I feel so much fire when I feel into this full moon. And of course, because it's in the sign of Leo, that's the sign of fire. It's fixed fire. Also because all planets are in forward motion. We have nothing retrograde right now. This is a time of movement, of making things happen, of taking steps forward in our lives. There's a couple of very interesting things happening during this full moon, and I want to talk about that. But first, maybe I'd like to weave in some themes. I think this will ground it in a little bit and really help us to relate this to daily life. So what's the purpose of this video? Why are we here? Like, why do I do this? Part of it is because I hold many rewilding circles, and these conversations oftentimes shed light on what others are seeing in their practices, in their explorations, in their inner world journeys. In a way that the journey itself maybe didn't shine a light, but it's like, oh my gosh, I can see something. So whether you're in a rewilding circle or program at the moment or not, the aim of this is to give you something that you can sink your teeth into, something that you can use to reflect on life, that you can use to deepen, that you can use to get the most out of this moment in time. That's probably it. Like, if I were going to just cut right to the chase, here's how to get the most out of this moment in time. And that's what I'm going to lean into during this whole conversation. Here's how to get the most out of this full moon. All right. First, how to get the most out of this full moon. I would really open my mind to new forms of relationship. We have a Venus-Mars square. Squares are considered challenging, but squares push us to move. They push us to make change. So it's in the challenge that we find new ways. So feeling into that, and you can just use that age-old thing, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. The masculine is from Mars, the feminine is from Venus, and just the differences. But what if there's a new way of looking at this? So we're in Sun and Aquarius right now. What if there's a new way? What if that's just a really old, silly paradigm that we're still prescribed to in some way? What if relationships, the relationships that we're in, we're still prescribed to some kind of old paradigm, or we're still locked into something that isn't necessarily true for us or doesn't necessarily serve, but we're still kind of acting from that place. So this is a really great time to reflect on relationships, especially close relationships. Close relationships where there's a masculine-feminine dynamic. Where any relationship, most relationships have a masculine-feminine dynamic. And so just feel into relationships that have a masculine-feminine dynamic. Masculine-feminine dynamics can look like one person, bringing the energy, feminine, one person directing the energy. That's one way of looking at it. One person, bringing the emotion. So it's like the energy as motion. It's just emotion. Emotion is life force. Feminine is life force. So one person bringing the emotion, the emotional expression, and another person bringing the presence, the stillness, the holding, the consciousness. Any of those kind of relationships or those dynamics in your life, feeling into, does this want to evolve? Does this want to take a new form? How does this want to, how can I come into next highest expression of this relationship? And for it to be Valentine's Day, I love it. Could get bumpy, not gonna lie. We'll talk about this in a minute, but could get challenging. There could be some very interesting stuff coming up. Full moon illuminates, so shines light on things, can shine light on the hidden. There's some stuff going on with Pluto. There's some dark goddess dancing going on. Kali is conjunct Uranus. They've been conjunct for a while, but they're dancing loudly. Saturn's conjunct Medusa. I'll talk more about this and what all of this means, but to just bring this back of it's still very much a time of getting deeper, of forward motion, forward movement, but from a deeper truth. That's a good way to feel into that. Forward motion from a deeper truth. Yeah. Not without its challenges though, right? Okay, so that's all planets are direct, forward motion. We've talked about the Mars-Venus square during this full moon. Next thing that I want to talk about is the T-square. So Sun is in Uranus, Moon is in Leo. They're, of course, in a full moon directly opposite each other. In a T-square to Uranus, who's conjunct Kali. In a T-square to Uranus, who's conjunct Kali. Uranus conjunct Kali, what does that mean? I've talked about this in the past, but I'll quickly summarize it here. It's Kali is dark goddess, right? Dark goddess, not bad dark. Dark goddess as revelatory, as fierce liberator, as ego slayer. Kali, that specific form of the dark goddess, is very much about ego, ego slayer, taking us to true self, really like taking the head off of our false self and bringing us into higher truth. Higher truth. She is a spiritual warrior. Uranus is a Kundalini awakener, brings lightning bolt. So if you've got a spiritual warrior who is taking the head off of your ego, and you have a radical revolutionary throwing lightning bolts, and they're standing together throwing lightning bolts at the sun and the moon. This is wild and big and beautiful. I think it's also part of what's inspired the event that we're holding as a ReWilding for Women event. I haven't held a new ReWilding for Women event in a long time. And this moment in time is just, to me, it feels like the feminine needs to roar for a minute. The feminine just needs to be in a safe and sacred space where she can just let it rip. To me, this Valentine's Day, I don't know, there's going to be some interesting expressions. I'm excited to see how this goes for everybody in your personal lives. But for me, it's like the energy has bubbled up, and now the lid is going to just blow off of the top. And it's really and truly the feminine, the sacred outrage of the feminine. It's sacred rage. Like, it's sacred. It's very sacred. It's from a place of deep love. It's from a place of deep love. I love this earth. I love the children of this earth. Enough. It's like that, and it's bubbling up to this tipping point where just like it needs an outlet. It needs the sacred rage of the feminine needs an outlet to just let that wild feminine energy move through. So we're holding a space on Sunday the 12th, and you'll find some details below on that if that's at all calling to, and you're just like, yeah, I feel that for Valentine's Day. You are so incredibly welcome to join. You'll find a little coupon code in the description below. So make sure you check out the description below so that you can grab that coupon code if you're interested in it. Okay, so that's the Uranus-Kali square. What else can that mean? Let me feel for a moment. Full moons are about things coming to a culmination. Remember that this is the midway point of a moon cycle. So you may want to think back to that January 21st new moon in Aquarius and kind of what was going on there, what seeds were planted, what things kind of started there, and then coming to, okay, now it's kind of the culmination of that. Like, what am I seeing here now? Yeah. Gosh. I'm just feeling this Uranus Kali piece so incredibly strongly. What are some other words that I can bring to it for you? What are you feeling to be a radical revolutionary about? What is it that you would become a sacred activist for? What is it that you're really impassioned by? What is it that really like lights that fire within you? You know, what is it? How are you called to serve? How are you called to serve? What are you called to serve? Who are you called to serve? What is the form your service is called to take? It's this really being called to action, to be part of the change in the world, to be part of the bringing in the new, and us all stepping into play our parts. We are all sacred warriors. We are all sacred warriors. And if you were going to be a part of bringing in new earth, if you were going to be a part of making change, like this is not a time to sit on our hands and contemplate, you know, la la la, or to start to feel small. This is Leo season. This is about getting creative, being big, playing big. It's about courage. Leo, lean into this full moon in Leo for like courageous lion heart. Courageous lion heart. And with Kali, ego slayer, get over your little self. Get over your little self. What are they going to think of me if I step into my light? You know, all of that chitter chatter, right? All those voices, the tapes. You're not good enough. You're too old. You're too young. You haven't gone to enough school. You're not ready yet. I'm ready to smile and pour grace through myself when I go to the post office. I'm ready to be a sacred activist, exactly where I am right now. I don't need to wait for something, right? Yes, I'm going to continue to evolve. Yes, I'm going to continue to open to more of my own gifts. Yes, I'm going to continue to follow my purpose, right? And my deepest callings and what I feel is my mission in life. Yes. But it's right now. So no more waiting. Like if there's something that I can say, just like words from the energy of this Uranus Kali squaring the sun and this moon, no more waiting. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more excuses. Even if you have to baby step it, but let there be some forward motion. Let there be some forward motion. Just start to build momentum. Start to build momentum, whatever that means for you. Whatever that means for you from that place of where am I called? Leo is about authentic expression of self. It's self-expression and it's deeply authentic. It's heart. It's like heart and soul expression of your unique creativity, your uniqueness, how you were uniquely wired, how you are uniquely wired, what you are uniquely called to become in this world, to do in this world, how you are uniquely called to be of service. Leo is also just a big-hearted energy of service, right? It's love. It's love. Like love for the sake of love. Yeah, can we let ourselves be moved by love? Be fueled into the future by love? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for you? Whew. I like this moon. Okay, let's see. What else can I bring into this? This is the other piece that I definitely want to weave in. I think I'll keep this a little bit on the shorter side today. Weaving in a little bit more of this dark goddess. So if we just spoke about like that Kali energy, Medusa is conjunct Saturn. Medusa, if we talk about Medusa, she's another dark goddess. And if we talk about the energy of Medusa and what Saturn brings to Medusa and what Medusa brings to Saturn. So let's feel into this. This could be one of the most powerful practices of your life. If you were to stand in front of Saturn, the wise side of Saturn, it is like Gandalf. It is like Gandalf looking straight through you into a deeper truth. That's the energy of high-level Saturn, right? He's Lord of Karma. like high level Saturn. And he is this wizened elder. And he has this capacity to penetrate straight through the false, straight through the masks you wear, straight through the bullshit, and get to a deeper truth of you. And he will stare right at that truer truth of you, and you will squirm around and you will try to hide that truer truth of you, and he will just keep staring right at it. And he will just keep staring. And he'll go, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you trying to hide that part. I see you trying to hide your genius. I see you trying to hide what you're called to serve, how you're called to serve, what you're truly called to do. I see you trying to hide that, but I'm going to keep staring right at it. So that's Saturn gifting Medusa, asking Medusa to take off her masks, right? The archetypal energy of Medusa. When you work with the archetypal energy of Medusa, you... I just get this excited feeling of like you really open to a wildness within self, a liberation within self, a freedom of true authentic expression of your feminine. And part of that liberation is being liberated from the masks we wear, the good girl mask, the corporate woman mask, the mom mask, all of these masks or roles, we could call them roles that we play. Not to say that we aren't still a mom, not to say that we aren't still a corporate, badass baller. But Saturn will ask Medusa, will demand. It's more of it's not demanding as in like, I'm gonna rip you to shreds. It's just, I'm gonna stay right here. And I am gonna persist in a way that will annoy the shit out of you until you just remove the masks. So Saturn is such a beautiful masculine energy to be gifting the wild feminine, to be gifting the dark goddess, to be gifting all of us. And I'm talking masculine feminine, not as in man, woman. I'm talking it in us as humans. We all have these aspects. We all have these archetypal energies. They're in us, they're outside of us, they're in the world around us. They operate in communities and groups. And so just to clarify that really quickly. Okay, so then how does Medusa gift Saturn? So if we go to Medusa's high side is that I am fairly confident that we are going to be working with Medusa on Sunday. I'm feeling this archetypal energy so strongly. That workshop that I mentioned on the 12th, I know we're going to be working with Medusa in this. She's too loud in the astrology to not work with her. Okay, so feeling back into Medusa and how does she gift Saturn? Okay, so Medusa on her high side is this fierce love. It's fierce love. It's this love, but it's this love of acceptance of all, right? Medusa was a Gorgon. She was this beautiful maiden turned into like a Gorgon gargoyle. But in that, she has come to this like deepening of love, this wizened love, this like wizening of love, deepening of love, and this feminine capacity to love everything. Can you feel that? It's part of the dark goddess overall energy. But Medusa specifically, it's an alchemization of let me with my love, let me transmute any of that toxic masculinity in Saturn, which can also be associated with patriarchy. Let me transmute through my love because my love has this alchemical capacity to it to alchemize toxic masculine into sacred masculine. That's Medusa's magic. And we all have the capacity to channel that form of love, that form of Shakti through ourselves, to hold that in a space, to channel that through us, to gift that out into the world. We really do. Like, it's a high level feminine gifting, and it takes some practice for sure to be able to get there. But there are women, there are men on this planet who hold that very powerfully, that Medusa aspect of I can, through my love, alchemize toxic expressions of masculinity into, I can shift it, I can move it, I can alchemize it into sacred expressions of masculinity. And Saturn, you son of a bitch, I am gonna hold you to that. I am gonna hold you to you upleveling, to you moving out of old school Saturn, old school ways, into higher, more sacred, more evolved, more mature masculine expression. That's Medusa. Yeah, how great is it that they're conjunct in a beautiful aspect to Hecate, who's just like Medusa's sister. They're both medicine women. They're both dark goddesses. They're both medicine women. So Hecate's back there with like her witchy cauldron, just brewing up a brew. And she's like, psst, pass him my way. Pass the old man, Saturn, my way. You know, she grabs him and she's just like, I have a good little witchy potion for that. Let me up-level you also, Saturn. All for this beautiful, all from love, all with this holding the intention of evolving to the next greatest expression of the masculine energy, right? Yes, this is what's happening. This is what's on offer. This is what's going on in this full moon. It's huge. It's beautiful. It's wild. I have many circles who are diving into this energy at the moment. If you're not in one of those circles diving into this energy at the moment, that's why I'm holding this workshop on Sunday. It's open to anyone who identifies as women. I gotta run another women's only event. I just do. It just feels fucking right. And all I have is that deep truth and what that feels and that intuitive gut feel. And so holding a women's only event just feels really, really right for this particular movement of energy, this particular opening, moving. My sense is that we will be gifted in ways that we can't even fathom when we show up to this space to also hold the intention of just transmuting, right? We never work for just ourselves. You know that, right? Your awakening is never just for yourself. You're evolving, you're growing, you're healing. It's never just for yourself. There's always a ripple effect. It will touch the lives of your children. It will touch the lives of those close to you. It's never just for ourselves. And so coming to this circle on Sunday, yeah, it's a big alchemical cauldron of transformation that will go far beyond us. And in that, I feel the gifting to be something I can't even bring words to. Yeah, I don't know. If you're feeling that sacred feminine, if you're feeling that just like, wow, I really feel called to sit in a circle. I really feel called to sit in a women's circle. I really feel called to go deep. I really feel called to the wild feminine. I really feel called to Medusa. I really feel called to Kali. I really feel called to Lilith, Persephone, the dark goddesses. I really feel called to this evolution. I really feel called to just let some energy move through my body. I really feel called to just be free. Just a space to let it rip, to let ourselves go, to let that enormous amount of life force that wants to move through our bodies to move. Let it move. And in that, letting all that energy move, it's our awakening, it's our healing, it's our purifying too, right? It's our letting go of the old and stepping into the new. Like it is really and truly a reset point, a space to really go for it. A space to really go for it and to be held in some really sacred energies. Yeah, I'm crazy excited. All right, that happens on the 12th. I hope I see you there. You'll see a video if you want to like dive into that video, talking about that. I'll put that next. We'll put that up here on YouTube. So if you're like, what? I don't know, like what? I want to feel more into this wild feminine. Like the first 10 minutes of this next video is all on that wild feminine energy. And it's a way to feel more into it and see what it brings up for you. You know, even if it's just that, just to see what it brings up for you. Like what does the wild feminine evoke in you? And what stirs? What stirs? Now is a really great time to explore that in whatever way you're called to. Whatever way you're called to. All right. Woo! So much love to you and full moon blessings. Big, beautiful, wild full moon blessings to you.